All right, let's talk board exams. When it comes to the USMLE or the PLAB, anemia isn't just another topic, it's a critical test of your diagnostic backbone. We're going to build a mental framework, a master loop, that lets you solve any anemia question they throw at you. Let's get into it. This is the principle you need to live by for the next few minutes. Master the diagnostic tree, or you get lost in the weeds. And on these exams, getting lost means losing points. In real life, it's so much worse. So let's master this tree. Okay, real quick, the mandatory disclaimer. This is all for education for exam prep only. It is absolutely not medical advice. For actual patient care, you always follow your established clinical guidelines. So here's our core strategy. I call it the anemia master loop. And the whole point is to give you a framework you can apply in seconds to break down any question logically, systematically, and get the points. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with the mean corpuscular volume, the MCV. It's the size of the red blood cell. Just think of it like this. If the cells are too small, MCV less than 80, you've got a raw material problem. You're missing the stuff to build with, usually iron. If the cells are too big, MCV over 100, the DNA factory itself is failing. Something's wrong with cell division, and that points to B12 or folate. And if the size is normal, right in that 80 to 100 sweet spot, well, that's when we need our master tool, the reticulocyte count. And this is maybe the single most important branch point in the whole tree, especially for normocytic anemias, the reticulocyte count. These are just baby red blood cells, right? And that count is your compass. It tells you one simple thing. Is the bone marrow factory working, or is it the source of the whole problem? And here's how that compass works. It's a simple question of guilty or innocent. If the reticulocyte count is high, the marrow is innocent. It's working overtime, pumping out new cells like crazy to make up for a loss somewhere else. That means the problem is outside the marrow. You're either destroying cells through hemolysis or losing them through a bleed. But if that count is low, the marrow is guilty. It's just sitting there, not responding to the anemia. The problem is inside the factory itself. Think aplasia or infiltration. Now here's the thing, knowing the diagnosis isn't enough for the boards. They're going to test your process with what I call the sequencing trap. This is a super common way people lose easy points. You might know all the right tests, but you pick them in the wrong order. You've seen this question a million times, right? What is the single best next step? They're not just testing what you know. They're testing how you think, how efficient you are, and if you know the fastest path to the right answer. So here are the rules to avoid that trap. Burn these into your brain. For a low MCV, you always check ferritin first. It's the most common cause, so you rule it in or out before you do anything else. For a high MCV, your first step is a peripheral smear. Seeing those classic hypersegmented neutrophils is fast, cheap, and tells you so much. And if you even get a whiff of hemolysis, you check LDH and haptoglobin first. They are the most direct signs of red cell destruction. Don't deviate from the sequence. Okay, let's lock this in. Time for some rapid-fire pattern recognition. I'm going to throw out some classic board vignettes. Your job is to connect the dots instantly. Ready? All right, first pattern. You've got a microcytic anemia. MCV is less than 80. You follow the rules, you check the ferritin, and it's rock bottom. The vault is empty. What is it? Boom! Iron deficiency anemia. The raw materials are gone. And for the bonus points, the next best action in an older patient? You find the source of the bleed. You check the colon. Next up, a macrocytic anemia. The MCV is way over 100, and you get that smear back, and you see those classic hypersegmented neutrophils. That's the textbook picture of megaloblastic anemia. Your DNA factory is sputtering. What's your immediate next move? Check the fuel lines, B12 and folate. Okay, now we're in that middle zone. Normocytic. MCV is normal. But you look at the reticulocyte count, and it's high. The marrow is working like crazy. This tells you instantly the problem is outside the marrow. Your top two suspects, hemolysis, where the cells are getting destroyed, or good old-fashioned acute bleeding. Let's dig deeper into hemolysis. So you've got the high retics. You see spherocytes on the smear, and this is the clincher. The direct Coombs test is positive. That's a slam dunk for autoimmune hemolytic anemia. The positive Coombs test is the smoking gun. It proves that antibodies are sticking to those red blood cells and marking them for destruction. But what if you have the exact same picture? High reticulose, spherocytes, but this time the Coombs test comes back negative. That one negative result changes the entire diagnosis.
Now, it's hereditary spherocytosis. It's an intrinsic problem with the cell's own structure, not an immune attack from the outside.
Last one, and this is the most serious pattern: normocytic anemia. But the reticulocyte count is low. The marrow is silent. It's not responding. The marrow is guilty. This is a marrow failure problem. Think aplastic anemia or maybe cancer infiltrating the marrow. And this is the one time on the boards where the correct next step is to get that bone marrow biopsy. And here it is, the whole thing, the entire logic tree in one place, your master matrix. You start with MCV. If it's normal, the ret count is your big divider. From there, specific clues from the smear or a Coombs test guide you right to the diagnosis. If you master this flow, you will master anemia on the boards. So you've got red cells on lockdown, you've mastered the logic, but the blood is so much more than just cells. It's this incredibly delicate balance between clotting and flow. And the truly high-stakes, life-or-death scenarios, they happen when that balance is broken. We'll tackle platelets and the whole coagulation cascade in our next explainer.